Hey guys, I'm Hannah, and I am this close to finishing the fourth draft of my first novel ever. I just wanted to take you guys along with me as I finish revisions, prepare to give the manuscript to beta readers, and talk about some of the things that I learned along the way. My book is a young adult portal adventure fantasy about a girl who must find the key to the gates between realms. It's got magic, dragons, lots of action, and a romantic subplot. So I know it's been a minute since we've caught up. I tried to film a third draft vlog like 6 months ago and then didn't finish it because I started a summer internship and then basically didn't touch my book for like 4 months. This year has not been the most productive writing year for me. I've been producing a few short films and whatnot, but over the last 2 months I've locked in and basically done my entire fourth draft. I'm just doing one last quick read through before I call it done, and I'm about 20% through the read through right now. In this pass, I'm mostly just trying to cut words because she's a little long. She's 125,000 words. I'm also just catching continuity errors, and I'm trying to nail down the magic system a bit better because I feel like that's been a weak spot. Otherwise, I'm weirdly happy about where this book is, which is good because I didn't want to give it to beta readers until I felt like it was as good as I could possibly make it. I've written coverage on a lot of books, scripts, short stories, even articles, so I've read maybe 50, maybe even 60 plus unpublished / unproduced manuscripts, so I know exactly how hard it is to get through something that is half-baked, and I didn't want to do that to my betas. Okay, so I'm going to keep reading through it now, and voiceover Hannah is going to talk to you about betas while I do that. Make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to be talking about the biggest lessons that I've learned throughout the entire revision process from first draft all the way to fourth. If you don't know what a beta reader is, it's basically someone who reads your book and gives you their feedback. Where you're at in your writing career kind of can change when you would give your book to a beta reader, maybe before an editor and after an editor. I don't have an editor, so they're just getting it after I've looked at it. Usually they're reading it in a pretty polished state, so do not send your first or second draft to a beta reader. My betas consist of a couple friends who are avid readers and one writer friend who I met on Instagram. They've offered to read my book just because they're interested, and I'm very grateful, and I hope they actually read it. I don't have a big enough platform online as a writer yet to be getting a bunch of interest from potential betas, so I'm honestly just working with what I have. What I do with this book after this step, though, is going to largely depend on what my betas say about it. I wrote this book as a practice novel because I'd never written a book before, but I knew that one day I wanted to. So since the whole thing is a learning experience, I might as well go all the way through and continue teaching myself how to research and choose agents to query, how to write a query letter, etc., if the feedback is positive from my betas. If the betas bring up huge issues, then I might just shelve it and write the next book. The worst case is that I learn so much, and the best case scenario from all of this learning experience is that I go through with the querying process and actually sign with an agent, which would be insane and not something I'm expecting. I think continually thinking of it as a learning experience is a way to hedge against the disappointment of it potentially never being published. And I'm not saying that because I don't believe in myself as a writer or don't believe in the book. I'm just very aware and realistic about how competitive this industry is and how rare it is for the first book that you write to actually be good enough for publication. I'm going to talk later about how to not be delusional when writing a book, but I would say maybe keeping your expectations small when you're writing your first book would be healthy, and maybe that's a controversial opinion, but I think it's a realistic one. Hey guys, it's a few days later, new location unlocked. We're in California for the holidays. I'm a little over halfway through my read through, so we just crossed over the midpoint. I'm not leaving a chapter behind until I feel like it's literally the best that I can make it. So I had to reread chapter 10 like 4 times. I also deleted an entire chapter, and I restructured the midpoint to switch up the POVs. I've cut around 3,000 words, which feels good. A couple days ago, I posted on Instagram asking for beta readers and actually got a few responses. So now I have 3 writer friends who are going to beta read for me, which is very lovely, but also kind of terrifying. I'm really oscillating between like, this is the best thing I've ever written, and this is the most boring plot ever conceived, and I can't imagine why anyone would enjoy reading this. But I think it's just because I'm reading through sections that I like just combed through a couple weeks ago, and I've read and rewritten everything so many times that I think I'm just getting a little bit sick of it, which people talk about that happening, but I didn't anticipate that it would happen to to me because, you know, like my book is special and different and I'll never get bored of it. Which I'm not bored of it. I'm actually very excited for people to read it. I've set myself the deadline of giving it to beta readers the day after Christmas, which gives me 4 days. So this was just a little midpoint check-in. I'll see you when I'm hopefully done with 4th draft. Hey guys, I finished 4th draft. There's like 2 itty-bitty little plot hole situations that I want to fix before I give it to betas, but I've like edited the last chapter. I've read through the entire thing. It took me 2 weeks, which I feel like is pretty fast, but somehow was longer than I thought it. I kept thinking I could read it faster, and that was a little bit delusional. It's actually December 29th now, so I'm a little past my deadline, but like I think my deadline was crazy. 2 weeks, read the entire book, cut 4,000 words, and somehow cut like 10 pages. So just fixing a few things and then giving it to betas. I'm excited, but I'm really not looking forward to having to smooth out these plot holes because they're super annoying. They're not like huge deals, they're just annoying. Also, I started working on a little Google form because I want like at the end of the book, the beta readers can just like fill out a Google form instead of like having to write an edit letter themselves. And then like every question is going to be not required. So they can just fill out as much of it as they want. And I think that will be a really helpful way for me to get a lot of their feedback that's not like the inline stuff. So I've been working on that, and then I'm just gonna like, I kind of want to make a map of like my fantasy world and put it at the beginning of the book just because I think it would be a super helpful reference for the beta readers. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping, I want to say tomorrow, but I don't want to be delusional, so I want to say like this book will be in beta readers' hands on December 31st in 2 days. But okay, that was my little update. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, it's January 1st, so I missed my self-imposed deadline again. Sue me. I can't believe how time-consuming it was to fix all these little things, and I started overthinking every little thing, and I changed a character's last name. That was a major search and replace kind of operation that I then had to go back and like clean up, but I just copied and pasted every single fully edited chapter into the document that's going to be used as like my copy and paste for all the betas, and I'm about to check the word count right now. So this will be interesting. Okay, 121,448. That's not bad. That's like we cut a really good amount of words, especially because some of the edits I was making, I was adding words, so I was like kind of scared. So, okay, so now I have a map too. So I'm going to put that at the top of the document. I'm going to make multiple copies of this document for each beta and then write an email and send it to them. I can't believe it. I'm like, done. Like, this took forever. This is ridiculous. And now it's like, all I can see is how bad this book is. Like, all I can see are the flaws and the weaknesses. Like, sending it to betas with that mindset kind of sucks, but at the same time, it's the exact reason why I'm sending it to betas is because I know that there are weaknesses. I know that there are flaws, and I need other people's eyes on them to tell me how to fix them, or at least to like articulate them for me. Yeah, that's my little update now that 4th draft is like really, really, really done. I think it's just been hard because I've been doing like holiday activities. Like I've been spending time with family, and like we go out to dinner and we like go do things and hang out together. Like been a lot of time that I've been like, oh, I'll just finish it today, but then I don't end up having time to sit at my computer and work on it. But I was pretty productive in the last 2 days, and now I'm this close to actually sending it to betas. I just shared the document to the beta readers, so everyone has access to their copy of the manuscript now, which is crazy. I'm about to send the email and just like let them know. The email also includes like a lot of the different things that I want them to like comment on in the document, along with a link to the Google form that I want them to fill out once they finish the book. I plan on doing like a check-in email at the midpoint and then resending the link to the Google form again closer to the deadline. I don't know what a normal deadline is. I'm giving them 2 months. Like if you read a chapter a day, you would finish it in 50 days. And my chapters are very short. Most of them are like 2 to 7 pages long. I feel like that's really reasonable. I don't really know though, because I've never done this before, so I'm just kind of making it up. But hopefully, honestly, like maybe people will finish it sooner or whatever. I hope they all finish it. I'm sending it to 5 people right now, and I can't believe, like, is this the end of the vlog? Like, am I done? Like, did I do it? I can't believe it. Stay tuned for maybe me writing another book, or maybe me continuing to edit this one. So I did it. Yesterday I shared my manuscript with beta readers, and it feels really weird that I'm not going to be touching it for the next 2 months. But yeah, if you just finished your first draft, here are some things that really helped me get through revisions. Number 1, don't give up. I think a lot of people get to this point and feel so accomplished, as they should, but they might feel like their work is done when really your work is just starting if you've just finished first draft, and you might give it to someone and get really harsh feedback and then give up on it. So please don't do that. The secret is that you become a better writer not in the drafting phase, but in the revising phase. If I had written 4 first drafts of different projects instead of sticking with one project and improving it for 4 drafts, I would not be as good of a writer as I am now. Even if it's technically the same amount of writing, revision exercises like a different writing muscle than drafting does. I'm only speaking from experience. Number 2, make an outline. I'm a pantser and I only had the loosest outline when I did my first draft, and then I reverse outlined after second draft. Don't be like me. Make a reverse outline after first draft. Don't wait. Number 3, tackle your biggest problems first. I rewrote my first act twice, and I think I rewrote my third act twice. I've reworked so many different parts of this book. I was thinking about it yesterday, and I don't think a single chapter or scene, except for maybe the first chapter, like a version of the first chapter from first draft, actually made it into fourth. So don't be afraid to delete large portions of your book and rewrite them in the revision stages. And speaking of deleting, number 4 is don't be afraid to hit delete. I've never overhauled a section of my book and regretted it. When you hold the strength of your book as a whole at a higher priority than any individual sentence or scene, it allows you to cut a pretty piece of prose or a nice line of dialogue if you know that that sentence or chapter is not serving your book as a whole. You are strong enough to kill any darling if you hold fast to your desire for the book to be the best that it can be. Number 5 is set realistic goals. And this one is mostly for people who are writing their first book like I am, because you might not know what a realistic goal looks like because you've never done this before, and I'm in the same boat. But I would say hold on to the hope that you will one day be a super successful author. That's not delusion, that's dreaming, and I feel like it's at the essence of being a writer. However, if you're going to reach that goal, you need to set yourself up to not be constantly disappointed by not meeting the unrealistic goals that you set for yourself. Like, I wouldn't go on social media and start promoting a launch date or pre-orders, alpha readers, beta readers before the book is ready for those. Like, I've seen people do that without even having a first draft finished. Oh my gosh, here it comes. This garbage truck has been so loud this whole time that I've been filming this. This is what I get for trying to film outside. I've seen so many people on social media push their launch dates further and further back, not because they were unrealistic about how fast they could write, but because they were unrealistic about how fast they could revise and how much work revision really is and how time consuming it is. You might think that your book is almost done by the time you give it to betas, but their feedback might inspire revisions that push back your imaginary timeline by 6 months. You should set deadlines for yourself, but if you're like me and you don't have a developmental editor, a book coach, or the experience of publishing a book before, if it's just you and your beta readers against the world, your book might take a few years to come together, and that's okay and totally normal. You might realize that your first book isn't that good and shelve it and write another book and have that be your debut, and that is also so normal. Any time that you spend writing is not a waste. 3 books written, revised, and shelved is not a waste because it all helps you become a better writer. I decided to treat this novel as a practice run, and it saved me all the mental strain of worrying about whether it'll ever be published, because I'm gonna keep writing it anyway. I've always loved writing. I've been writing since I was a little girl, and I'm gonna keep writing for the rest of my life whether or not anyone pays me to do it. But with that mindset, I genuinely believe success will find you. See, we're like still a little delusional out here. One day we'll all be super successful and we'll have our agents and editors hounding us to finish our books and meet our deadlines to satiate the appetites of our raging fans. But for now, I don't gotta worry about that, and neither do you probably. So find the balance of taking it seriously but also writing for fun and treating it as a learning exercise or a practice run if you're writing your first book. I think that'll prevent stress and writer's block and maybe a bit of heartbreak too if it doesn't work out in the end. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. Building community is super important to me, so please comment down below and tell me what you guys are working on. I'm very nosy and I want to know everything, and I will see you in the next one when I'll probably have some beta reader feedback to go over with you guys. Bye!